welcome to ZEN Talks, Conversations That Matter. On ZEN Talks, we tell stories which engage, inspire, and empower. Stories that can change lives. We speak to achievers and leaders from all walks of life and endeavor to learn from their life lessons and insights. So my guest today on ZEN Talk is a name to reckon with in the world of fashion. Her creations have been worn by Thurman, Naomi, Campbell, Sushmita Sen and Lara Datta, to name just a few. In fact, she has been christened the Gaultier of the East due to her delicate and artful designs, reminiscent of the great Jean Paul Gaultier. A very warm welcome to ace fashion designer Rina Dhaka. Thank you for joining us today, Rina.
Thank you, Richard, for having me on ZEN Talk. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So tell me, the first question I want to ask you is that how has 2020 been? How did you cope up with the pandemic and its effect professionally and personally? And what are your three major learnings due to this challenging period?
Well, initially after a little bit of settlement and the reality sank in, it was like walking into a life's dream, because in my entire life, I've never had a time off for so long. Even if I took a vacation and the phones were ringing, questions were being asked, even if I went to a hospital while I was ill, somebody or the other would be talking to me over my head and asking me, can they do this? Can they do this? Is it okay? Like approvals, disapprovals. In short, there was work and its processes on. So that complete shutdown was, for me, a boon, like a wish come true.
All right.
And many learnings, of course. Fashion as not an essential item. So there was a bit of a flat line, not a bit, quite a bit. But there are many avenues in fashion. Once you know how to manufacture, you have to just put yourself, like we are used to doing turnkey collections, quick around changes in the season. So the same way we had to adapt to this new normal. And in many ways, we still are. So that's really where I am.
All right. But tell me one thing, since you've been ruling the fashion scene for like more than 3 decades now. So what is the secret of being able to stay relevant even today? Because from when you started out, so much has changed. And how have your design sensibilities evolved with the times?
See, I spent a lot of time with, I research, I work on international trends, patterns, forecasts. And there is always the striving challenge that you are as good as your last show. And there's some brilliant young designers now who are my competitors, or let's just say peers of this time. And I find it a pleasure to work with them. There is no hierarchy anymore. It's just that we are as good as our last whatever.
And it's all a very linear structure. Yes. Great. But tell me.
There has been great. So this has been a journey, and the process is still on. Because you see, at the end of the day, you have to compete. The buyer is the decider for us now.
That's true.
We're just brands, and they may pick another designer, they may pick you. And so there are many factors. And when you're shipping internationally, you want to put your collections out there. It's really quite a competitive.
Yeah, there's so much of focus on mass production and affordability. And at your time, of course, it was all about creating art, timeless heirlooms.
Yeah.
So how has that transition been for you?
I think I am kind of a person who likes to delve in both. I'm not saying I'm the best on ready to wear, but I enjoy ready to wear. It's a very good aspect for me, because that's the kind of fashion I myself wear. And when it comes to haute couture, I love it, especially in Indian segments, because that's how we can be ourselves. We don't need to look at any international brands. We're just delving into history, archives, textiles, and it's you, and between your workers and yourself, you can create something unique and your own. So to say that the lycra churidar, which came about,
which was your invention, as my own, of course.
Yeah, because I was getting married, and I used to get these catsuits. I used to make catsuits, and we used to smuggle the lycra across the Green Channel from London, from Aldgate, because you never got it. And I used to love knits, because I was essentially more attracted towards anything stretchy, tight and fitted, where you live, Newton-John of Greece. And at that point, I was so influenced by that. Myself was so young. And I created the churidar because the churidar when I was getting engaged was bigger and wider than me, and catch me dead getting into that. And then I made all these stretchy kameezes, like 60s kurtas.
And
then
that trend is still going strong. Lycra churidar is still being used every day.
Then I put in the bra and the sari in a show of mine, and I think I was one of the early or the first. I can't credit myself because I really saw Zina Taman in Roti Kapra Aur Makan singing Hi Hi Ye Majboori, or one of those black sari songs of hers on the rain. And that got me to say, shit, I can put a bikini top, because I used to do swimwear. And I mean, I did some for Selfridges for one of the small capsule collections long back. And then I made all those t-shirts, the kitsch ones, like Rafu Chakkar, bikinis, and that kind of a street art. Movie posters. And today, of course, you don't need that. You have digital, you have archives, you have banks.
All right. But now the way we consume fashion has changed. The fashion industry has, of course, evolved. And now post the pandemic, we've kind of entered the digital stratosphere. You recently concluded a digital fashion week. So how was that experience?
I loved it. I really enjoyed it, because for me, I'm so behind the clock, which is probably my apologetic nature, right? I'm almost defensive because I didn't even know Instagram till I didn't know.
I remember you were a little apprehensive about social media even then.
Yeah, and I have had fears because once in a while on Twitter I've heard what people
trolling.
say as reactions or trolling, and it's very intimidating. But yeah, how long can you hide behind it? So I skulked behind the scenes for I think I was behind
a long time. Yes.
Yeah, so I have a girl now helping me out to professionalize it, but it's been a learning. I've watched videos how to learn how to post.
And yes, we're all embracing that new change. True.
Yeah.
But didn't you miss the energy of the actual ground fashion week as opposed to the digital experience?
It's not as easy as it looks, and however, the phygital which we did with FDCI was very nice. We had a beautiful curved screen. We made a lovely cinematic video, which I couldn't even play because I really worked on that one. And then with a very few models, we did a show, and then we showed it as a film with no audience. But there were models. There was a makeup artist.
All right. So it's a learning, as you were mentioning. But tell me, you retail in London, New York, Italy. So what are the differences that you see between the West and the East, especially in the current scenario?
See, right now everybody's flatlined, especially Europe, because London is completely closed, and Italy, of course, has been going through a lot of recession for a long time, in fact. And then when you come to America, I think is a market which still is showing a little promise, and there is work there. Yeah, right now I don't know what the parameters stay, frankly. Some companies strong are there, and Indian weddings will still happen. Buying is reduced, but buying is there. And
are you also offering online consultations like most big designers from the big fat Indian wedding? People have moved to the smaller
wedding bridals and all. Yes, we're very much struggling with our online presence. But yes, we've still got responses. We do on and off sales. We work with Asa, Amazon, and there is Pernias, there's Mandra. So all that keeps us busy. I mean, we're on our toes all the time.
I was actually just coming to that. All the big haute couture designers are now collaborating with online brands, and fashion is now suddenly, even haute couture is becoming affordable. But do you think that's even possible? Because you're talking about creating art and an heirloom, and then you're talking about affordability. Do the twain meet?
See, there is always that recession-proof market which will need couture. So they will always be there. And they will never ever be satisfied with a product which isn't exceptional or unique or carries a story. But what has been very interesting for this winter, at least when I attended my own nephew's wedding, I also attended one of my friend's wedding, was to watch there is a huge shift to people wearing textiles. So they are happy to use the Indian textiles, and it's finally after all these years of messages and inspirations, it's finally sunk home. And I think that's been a great watch.
Okay. But you yourself have worked so much with the
Indian
workers,
textiles,
textile workers,
But
yeah. So
yeah,
how has
it's
that
a
been?
learning, Ruchira, it's like you work in the field of cinema or television or whatever, moving media, whatever you call it. But there's always more we can learn, in this. There's always new developments. Like what a weaver in, say, Maharashtra or Yola as a place somewhere there in the boonies will weave versus a similar weave being woven in borders of Karnataka and Goa. There are these weaving centers. Or if you take it to even Kota, or Banaras. So the same border and design will be woven in different techniques based on that. So there is always things one can learn from these experts.
Great. But you're also, there's this talk about fashion and sustainability, and more so after the pandemic and its effect, because we all are becoming more environment conscious. So what are your thoughts on that? You've always been a sustainable fashion designer.
So one of the biggest Indians, most of us are sustainable, trust me, because we don't throw out things. We are always recycling, making patchwork bags, thelas. The old sari which my mother would have had
would become, it comes back.
Yeah, there would become a razai or something in the old days. But yeah, in current times, I am working with like Eco-Liva. It's a wonderful fabric. I really like it. It's like a malmal but with a silk kind of a thing. They use very little water in it. It is a fiber which doesn't stay. It's recyclable. It's eco-friendly. I enjoyed it. Then I'm also working a little bits with Khadi Gram and ODOP, Tribes India.
Oh yes, during
so
the
I do my bit. Yeah, it's incredible.
Tell me, just before we dive into our last round of quick rapid fire, I just wanted to ask you one question. You've also done a lot about body positivity and embracing all body types. And I remember you were one of the first designers who actually kind of brought plus size women. You worked with a brand for plus size women, I think, right? So I wanted to ask you, it really breaks my heart when I see these little girls under so much pressure of beauty stereotypes. So what are your thoughts? What do you think we can do about it? How can we create an active voice to kind of stop these young girls by, feeling this pressure of unrealistic beauty?
Encounter with plus size was, and that led a big impression on me. I think about 12 to 15 years back, I was doing London Fashion Week. And, in London, you have to get up very early. It was winter. And so I have to be there dot on time to be there for my stand, my booth. And so I walked in the morning and there was the police there outside the Victoria and Albert Museum. And there were all these huge, like crazily dressed with colorful boas, with fishnets. And it was really cold, and bathing suits, and these huge models were all surrounding them, and they won't let anybody enter. They were protesting against the use of zero size models, or why were not plus size models used? And that got me, that left a very big impression on me. And ever since, I also have worked in fashion also when we do exports and all that, we do plus sizing. So, and I always had this comment from my earlier customers who would say, "Tu to apne liye kapde banati hai." And it's not true. Plus size is very close to my heart because there is a lot of fear and anxiety over appearance because we all want to be one certain size. Why are we like that? None of us are. We're all unique. Everyone is perfect in their own way. And I tell you, what a show it was, the plus size show.
I'm sure.
It was.
No, but I think we need to make more of a conversation around it. It's very important.
No, but now every show they have to put a plus size model. It's not, there's a percentage of them. It's normal.
Yeah. In fact, you would even introduced a lady, I believe, right?
I picked her up from the crowd. She's gone and done every cover of every magazine this year. Sakshi Sadhwani.
Sakshi, yes.
She was hiding somewhere when we were casting, and I kept looking. I said, "God, the best face is there. Where is she hiding?" Then we had to convince her to get on the ramp, and no looking back for her.
Yes, no looking back, literally. Great.
Yeah.
So
She was a
great.
star waiting to be found.
Now she's kind of been found. Yes, great.
Yeah.
Rina. So now first is 5 fashion essentials for any woman.
A black sari for an Indian woman, or a black long dress or a cocktail gown, white satin silk shirt, a great pair of blue jeans, and the 5 essentials is very limiting, to be honest. There must be more. But maybe a classic skinny black pant to go through the seasons, a pair of pumps, a black pump, again black. Tan is also good. And
classic colors, basically nude colors.
Yeah, and in Indian clothing, so if I'm an Indian clothing wearer, then I would do in my 5 staples, I'd need nice bottoms, nice pajama bottoms to change my look. So I would go with the classics like creams with the lace, the skinny straight pant, the tulip pant, then maybe a cream cotton sharara, so that it'll take me through the seasons. And saris, shawls, I love shawls, especially this winters we have in Delhi.
Yes.
And blouses, off shoulders, metallics, nudes, they help.
Great. And what about the few accessories that one must invest in, from to be ready for a Zoom call or a formal look?
If one has to do a thing, I think pearl has become big. You've seen in the Couture Week also now, the pearl has become a big fashion statement. So anything to do with off-white pearls or something would be nice to have for the coming season. And hoops are always good. Our old traditional jewelry, we get such fabulous pieces everywhere. They're either remakes or the originals. They're always nice. You put pair in for any, to set off her face.
Of course, yeah. Great. And tell me one fashion trend that you just cannot get your head around.
Oh God. Oh well. I'm trying to think. There are many I can't get my head around. But
I remember long back you had once said capris, if I'm not wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I got tired of that kurti earlier then, but now I'm not so angry about it. So I'm not so sure. I
don't even remember. I thought it was Malaika Arora or you. One of you had said that it cuts off a person in the middle and it does nothing for anybody. So capri should be banned. I have forgotten who said it.
My God, that could be Malaika. She has a lot of confidence. Everybody listens to her.
Because this was the exact terminology that cuts somebody off in the middle. Anyway, yes. So according to you, a fashion trend you don't understand. All right.
Nike chunni.
Got it. I can kind of visualize that around bus stops in the morning, or picking up their children.
Not just bus stops, you see them everywhere. They're everywhere.
No, while dropping and picking up children, that happens.
Yeah. Nike chunni. I guess it's convenience, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. But tell me a fashion icon that you personally follow even today, or who inspired you in your early years.
I like history. I like historic characters, to be honest, and anything from history I'm very much inspired by, but I'm not like fixated. I did years back a fabulous collection based on Frida Kahlo's look, and it was magnificent studying her, her hair, her looks, her knitted eyebrows, and her moustache and everything. I mean, she was such a visionary in terms of fashion and her rebozzos. And so they change for me. I would say anybody from a Rani Lakshmi Bai to Maharani Gayatri Devi, and even the fashion there's so many stylish people. It's incredible how effortless some of them are.
That's true.
It's a treat to watch them.
And one person who you think needs a makeover. Desperately need a makeover.
Makeover desperately. Oh, now everybody's so groomed with the stylists and everything.
There's a whole army working towards it, yes.
Yeah, they all look alike. That's the sad part.
Absolutely.
I would say somebody very perfect to become a little natural, normal, and not so perfect would be a good makeover for me. Could be the Kardashians.
Oh, right. Yes, definitely. That's a good one. Okay. So tell me 2 things that nobody knows about Rina Dhaka.
Nobody knows about me. That's like secrets.
Yes.
Oh God. I guess I blab and talk a lot, so I've said most of what I've known about me. But closer to what nobody knows about me is that I hum in a bathroom. I like it, even though I have a froggy voice, so I don't like to sing.
You're a bathroom singer, that's fun.
Bathroom singer. And I'm mad about dancing. So I just scared my son. And I said, I'm going to turn into a dancer when I'm 60. You'll watch your kids will watch the grandmother and die of shit.
That will be a good sight to watch. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay. And what are you reading currently? What's on your bookshelf?
So I'm reading is writings of Nichiren Daishonin because I'm a Buddhist, and that's more or less what I'm reading. And I'm not really reading as much as I used to read earlier. So I read little, but I do catch up on my news on the phone.
All right.
Other stuff like that.
Okay. And your favorite series on an OTT platform? Something that you're watching or love to watch?
I don't have a favorite, but I've watched Catherine the Great, which was really nice. And then Bridgerton, of course, was because it's become a big fashion influencer.
And
then,
costume,
of course, the Queen's Gambit was a fashion influencer. So all I saw was a big eyes rolling.
Okay. And just the last two questions. If you could go back in time in your career, in your life, personally, would you do anything differently?
I don't know if the thing is I have to then change me. Even if I go back in time, I'll pretty much be the same person. But if I change me and go back in time, perhaps I could be different.
I have an answer for you. One was maybe you could become a model before becoming a fashion designer. I remember.
I did get offered when I was very young to become a model in France or act, but yeah, maybe those were good professions to have done also.
Okay, great. And what's your advice to young girls who want to be like you?
I would say fashion isn't what one thinks it is because of the way it's portrayed on Instagram, on a model, how it is. It is, of course, that it is. But there is a lot of behind the scenes, nervous, panic-ridden work we have to put in because of deadlines. One needs a lot of continuity in this and needs good health and survival kind of a thing. So, but it doesn't matter. There are always new people who will be wanted always.
So there's always space for more.
There'll always be space.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us on ZEN Talks, Rina. It was lovely having you, and thank you for taking out time despite a busy schedule.
No, busy, but it's just that look, what I had to do.
You're still looking lovely.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you so
good
much.
Weekend. Bye.
Thank you.